Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a special book. You already know the title, that's why you have clicked on this video. This book is without any doubt one of my top favorite books of all times. And I don't think any other fiction book has the power to replace this book. So, in today's video, we are going to be talking about Peer-e-Kamil by Umera Ahmad. If you haven't read this novel yet because of it being in Urdu but you want to read it, then good news for you, because if you are an Indian, then this book has been translated into English and also into Hindi. So if you are familiar with both of those languages, then you can go ahead and grab a copy. It's available on Amazon India, so it's pretty easy to get it from there as well. But if you are concerned that because of the translation some things might have been missed out or some, the essence wouldn't be there, then I would suggest listening to this book. It's available for free on YouTube as well. I will add all the links in the description of this video. Now let's get that out of the way and let's talk about this book. I might be a little bit biased when I say this, and I also feel like other people might also say the same thing. To me, Urdu is one of the most beautiful languages in the world. I don't think that any other language could take its place. There is so much beauty in the language and so much rhythm, and you can say so many things in so many different ways, and there is so much depth in the sentences that I don't feel any language can come close to this. And top that off with Umera Ahmad's writing and you have got yourself a gem. And that's what this book is. So let me just quickly introduce this book to you guys. The name is obviously Peer-e-Kamil. The author is Umera Ahmad and it was published in India in 2017. The writer has dedicated this novel to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and that makes this book even more special. The novel revolves around these two characters named Salar Sikandar and Imama Hashim. But oh my goodness, Salar Sikandar, the man you are. Umera Ahmad, what have you created? What have you done to this generation? The story begins from the childhood, high school time, and Salar Sikandar is shown as this character who is exceptionally good at everything that he does. More than 150 IQ level. Since childhood, he's always curious. He always gets into the wrong side of things because he's curious. He has these questions and he wants those questions answered. On the other side, there is Imama Hashim, who is the next door neighbor of Salar Sikandar, but they have no connection whatsoever. And Imama is this person who is really ambitious, who wants to become a doctor when she grows up. And she's really driven, she's really close to her parents, especially her father. The thing is that she belongs to, her family belongs to Ahmadi group. Ahmadis are basically people who believe in the fact that there is a prophet after Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Prophethood didn't end on Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, rather there is one more prophet and they believe in him. To be a Muslim, you have to be a believer in the fact that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the last prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and prophethood ended on him and no one comes after him. And if you don't believe in that, then you don't agree with the very basic thing that makes you a Muslim. And then the book opens up and we read about this conversation between Imama and her best friend. At the time, she's asking, what's your biggest wish in life? And Imama says, I want to be a doctor and that's my biggest wish in life. And then she asks, what's your biggest wish? Her friend is kind of hesitant, but then she eventually says, my biggest wish is that you become a Muslim. So that's how the story evolves, and it's basically a story of Imama, especially the first half of the novel is a story of how Imama transforms and how she finds the truth, how she finds her way back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the actual way. Salar obviously is the person who is really curious. He's shown as this love wali person, basically, someone who doesn't give a damn about what's going on in the world. Everything should go well in his own life, in his own world. So that's the premise of this story. It's about Salar and it's about Imama and their transformation. How these both two people who are so different from each other, they find the truth, they find their way back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how that entire process looked like. Salar has a history of getting into trouble. He's after understanding what comes after death. Because his mind is so sharp, he doesn't have anything that could ground him. When you have religion in your life, you feel grounded. Understand the fact that you are submitting to one Lord. You understand the rules and regulations. In short, when you don't have any rules and regulations in your life, you feel as if you are flowing in whatever direction. You don't have any set direction in your life. So that's what's happening with Salar as well, because he's so exceptionally good at everything. He aces everything basically, that nothing is a challenge to him. So he just, constantly is trying to find out what comes after happiness first. Then he gets into drugs. So he reaches that level of, I guess, happiness that he doesn't know what comes after it. So he realizes that, okay, it's ecstasy. So that's the highest point of happiness that you could get into. He asked this question, what comes after ecstasy? Imama replies, pain. And he's like, what comes after pain? So she's like, death. He asked, what comes after death? She says, hell. And then his last question was, and what comes after hell? So Imama replies, don't you get scared by just the thought of hell? Because there is nothing after it, honestly. So this entire conversation just makes you think so much, because we realize that there are specific questions that our human mind cannot comprehend. So how about we understand what we know so far, know our limits, and just do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us to do. And explore and be nice human beings and be kind to the people, serve humanity, serve him, do all of those things, and then leave this world in the best form possible. Then Imama's story comes to a stop when she moves to Lahore, when she basically runs away from home. And we get to experience life alongside Salar as he is exploring life, as he is going through this transformation, as he is understanding all of these different things about life. And after that transformation, the man that Salar becomes, Umera Ahmad has just outdid herself basically. He becomes the kindest, most compassionate person ever. He becomes God-fearing. He understands the essence of Islam. He understands what it's like to be a Muslim and what it means to be a Muslim. It takes a lot to preach something to the audience in a way that it doesn't feel preachy at all. So this book is a gem in the sense that it teaches you so much, it preaches you so much, but at the same time it doesn't feel preachy at all. You learn so much from it, but you learn it with such an open heart and with so much subtlety that it doesn't feel as if you are reading about something that's teaching you, if that makes sense. And also, when Imama is going through that transformation, you understand how Allah's help can come from any direction. All of these little things in the novel just, keep on assuring you and reassuring you the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the fact that we are not alone in this life. We should never ever be hopeless. That's the epitome of hopelessness that Imama went through. But despite that, she came out victorious. And then obviously towards the end of the novel, as readers, you get a treat by reading about the reunion of Salar and Imama in the best possible way. So I like the way the author just basically, talks about Imama in the beginning. It stops about Imama, the story about Imama, moves on to Salar's life. We constantly read about Salar's life for pretty much the half of the novel. And then right at the moment where it's pretty much the life-changing decision of Salar, it stops. We don't get the answer of who the girl was that Salar has just said yes to for nikah, and bam, and then we read about Imama's side of the story, how she moved away from home and what she did. That break in the story at that particular moment is so annoying, but at the same time it's so good too, because you are constantly craving to know what happened next. Like throughout this entire half of the novel where you were reading about Salar, you want to know what happened to Imama and what's her situation like, what's she going through, has she found safety or not. But the author just keeps you waiting, and right at the moment where you want to know who Salar has married, the author takes you back to Imama. Such clever piece of writing, such clever piece of weaving the story. Like, I don't think that anyone could do better than Umera Ahmad. So a highly recommended novel. If you haven't read it, please go ahead and read it. But let me tell you, once you read it, this book will never ever move out of your mind. You will always remember this book at the back of your mind, and whenever you go back to read it, you will still read it as if you are reading for the first time. So with that note, we have come to the end of this video. By the way, this novel has a sequel by the name Ab-e Hayat, and I will be making a review of it as well. So keep an eye out for that. If you have already read the novel, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, kindly do so. I would appreciate it. With that note, we have come to the end of this video. Take care. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.